The astonishing rise of a Notre Dame football icon and a heavy toll it took on him. September 20th, 2025, American coach, the triumph and tragedy of Notre Dame legend Frank Leahy. Ivan Maisel, 400 pages, Grand Central Publishing, $30. Frank Leahy was the embodiment of a powerful archetype, a hard-working, devout Irish Catholic, descended from immigrants, who pushed himself to his absolute limits. He achieved greatness on one of the most iconic stages available to any American Catholic during his era, the football fields of Notre Dame. But here's where it gets controversial. Leahy's march to gridiron glory came at a steep and often overlooked cost. In the new biography, American Coach, The Triumph and Tragedy of Notre Dame legend Frank Leahy, veteran college football journalist Ivan Maisel meticulously chronicles how Leahy coached Notre Dame to more national championships and unbeaten seasons than even his revered mentor, Knut Rockne, whose life tragically ended in a 1931 plane crash. Yet despite these monumental achievements, Leahy's story is often overshadowed, making him arguably the most forgotten legendary coach in college football history. Maisel exposes the price paid, not just by Leahy himself, but also his family and his lasting legacy, highlighting the dangers of an all-consuming work ethic that veered into self-destructive territory. Maisel skillfully guides readers through Leahy's upbringing on the vast plains of Nebraska and South Dakota. Early on, Leahy was driven by a fiery determination to prove his detractors wrong and honor promises he made to his siblings. These formative experiences sparked a relentless work ethic that became his defining trait. The narrative then traces Leahy's early coaching years at Boston College between 1939 and 1940, where he not only helped shape future legends like Vince Lombardi and John Wooden, but almost convinced the future literary icon Jack Kerouac to pursue football at Boston College rather than writing. Under Leahy's influence, Boston College surged to an undefeated season, establishing itself as a national powerhouse, just before Notre Dame came knocking in 1941. Maisel thoughtfully points out where history and legend blur, acknowledging gaps in the record due to time or myth-making. This includes the somewhat contentious decision Leahy made to leave Boston College for Notre Dame, as well as his ambiguous resignation from the Fighting Irish later on. Throughout the book, readers are treated to vivid stories of a coach who, despite battling insomnia and exhaustion, spent countless hours dissecting game plans and crafting motivational speeches in a dorm room far from his family. Unlike many coaches who relied on widespread recruitment, Leahy was selective, sometimes cutting players who would later enter the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because he believed in molding a team of uncompromising work ethic, rooted in his childhood mantra that hard work trumped all. His players humorously claimed that spring practice under Leahy felt like it began in December and lasted until August. While other coaches might have thrived on media attention and camaraderie with fellow coaches and journalists, Leahy was an introvert singularly focused on one thing: winning on the football field. Maisel highlights Leahy's staggering record: 107 wins between Boston College and Notre Dame, commanding a 39-game unbeaten streak, with 6 undefeated seasons amid coaching interruptions, including Navy service and a serious bout of pancreatitis during his career. However, the book also touches on how Leahy occasionally softened his notoriously strict and dictatorial style, especially when coaching war veterans, and chronicles his gradual willingness to advocate for his few African-American players at a time when that was far from common. An especially compelling scene is the 1946 Game of the Century, a tense, brutal showdown between Notre Dame and Army held at Yankee Stadium. This game symbolized more than sport. It was a metaphor for the nation's post-war hopes and struggles. Maisel's portrayal of Leahy's anguished moments in the locker room afterward reveals the intense pressures that plagued him, underscoring the obsessive, often imbalanced life behind the legendary facade. Leahy's Fighting Irish were more than just a football team. They became a potent emblem of Catholic achievement during a period when the church was rapidly growing within America. Yet, Maisel poignantly reveals how Leahy's health deteriorated, how his wife's mental well-being was affected, and how his relationship with his 8 children suffered. As Notre Dame sought to elevate its academic prestige alongside its football prominence, the sacrifices Leahy made became clearer, and ultimately, he paid the highest physical price. American Coach deftly balances tales of Leahy's personal sacrifices with undeniable proof of his incredible success. Maisel argues convincingly that college football history has yet to properly recognize Leahy's legacy and that he deserves to stand shoulder to shoulder with icons like Rockne, Bear Bryant, and Nick Saban on the Mount Rushmore of coaching legends. But here's the part most people miss. Leahy wasn't invincible. He was a man wrestling with his own limits. Does that make his legacy all the more human and remarkable? Or is it a cautionary tale about the costs of relentless ambition? Where do you stand? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.